Such an amazing experience. It's something that I will always remember, and I will definitely be back for more. It's just a surreal experience to actually be there, in that corral, kind of getting ready to start your Ironman. You've thought about this for, months and months, in some cases years. In my case, I had, thought about this on and off for many years, and to finally be there, it's just so special. You're surrounded around all these people who are doing an Ironman, many of them for the first time. I think there's 500 some odd new first timers. I was one of those, and it's just kind of, that starting energy has always been so fun about triathlon. I've always really liked that. There's just a lot of excitement and nerves, and it's just hard not to be excited in those couple minutes before the cannon goes, and then it's just like, okay, we're going, and that's the start of it. And so the event actually officially starts at 6:40 on Sunday morning. The men pro go at 6:40, the women's pro go right after the men's pro, and then the age groupers just start going right after that. So they line you up in order of swim speed. The fastest swimmers start first, and that's basically where the event starts. I mean, they have a cannon that goes off, the men go, the women go, the age groupers start going. Next thing you know, it's your turn, you're up, and in the water you go, and your event starts right there. Going into my swim, I was planning on swimming, if I had a really good day, maybe like an hour and 20 minutes. And I wasn't sure how it'd go. I mean, you never know what the water conditions are like. And an hour swim is actually pretty interesting because the water conditions were pretty rough for about half the swim, and a lot of people talked about that after. I mean, there was probably, I'm guessing, a 1 foot swell ish, like when you go, I think 1,100 yards out, 300 yards left, and then like 1,700 yards back. That 1,700 yard stretch back it was pretty rough, and I know a lot of people had difficulty with that. And I think there was at one point during my swim where I was like, this is pretty difficult, and I started to focus on how challenging it was, and I thought, okay, this is the start of my day. If I continue down this mindset of thinking about how challenging this is going to be a long miserable day. So I just ended up really just thinking about, okay, I'm gonna enjoy the swim, relax, and just warm up. That was the mindset that I had before, and that was the way that I had kind of wanted to go into the swim, was just to be thinking about the swim as an opportunity to relax, stay loose, warm up, and just don't push too hard. You want to just use that time to really warm up and get the body warmed up and moving. And so that's kind of how the rest of my swim went, and I was super happy. I finished with a 1:25. I was 5 minutes slower than I had thought, and really happy with that considering how rough the water was. So coming out of the swim, you run through and you go up the helix to T1, transition 1, the room, grab your bag, then you go into a changing room. And in the changing room, you towel off, you do whatever you gotta do to get ready for the bike. So for me, it was towel off, get my feet dried, get socks on, get my bike shoes on, get my bike helmet on, bike jersey on, and then load my jersey with the nutrition that I needed for the first phase of the bike. And so I had some Uncrustables in there, salt, some goos, and that was pretty much it. And so you come out of that changing room, run towards your bike, grab your bike, and then run your bike to the bike start line. And from there, the bike is, you're basically, on to the next phase of the triathlon, which is the bike section. The bike for me was all about just paying attention to hydration and fueling, and then also watching my heart rate and my pace. I didn't want to push my heart rate very hard, knowing it's 112 miles and knowing that you have a marathon to do on the backside of the bike. That was the big focus. I wasn't so concerned about pace. I thought, okay, I don't know how steep these hills are. A lot of people had talked about how steep the hills were in Madison, and they are definitely very steep. I mean, just to give you an example, on the steepest hills, which go for, you know, a couple hundred yards, I was in my lowest gear on my bike and I was pushing pretty good power just to make it up the hills. And you know, so there's very steep sections on the bike, and then beyond that, it's actually a really nice, enjoyable bike course. There's rolling hills, you know, you're out in the country, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of volunteers, a lot of the people, the community come out to help cheer you on, and so that part was really a lot of fun on the bike. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect, and going into the bike, I was quite amazed at how many people come out there to show support and to cheer people on. So yeah, going back into town, finishing the bike, I remember watching my pace, and I think I finished around around 19 miles an hour, which I was actually really happy with. I was watching my heart rate throughout the bike, and I wanted to keep my heart rate down, which I ended up averaging roughly 135 beats per minute on the bike for my heart rate, which to me that was perfect. That was an indication that I hadn't worked super hard and I had held a decent pace, where I thought, okay, going into the marathon, I'm probably gonna be about as fresh as I can be, and as fresh as I want to be, considering you've just done 112 miles on the bike. So you come back into town, you get into, you know, T2, you got to get off your bike. They take your bike from you, which is actually really nice. Then you run into the T2 room, grab your T2 bag, go into the changing room, right away go from whatever you're wearing on your bike stuff to getting into whatever you want to wear on your run. And I had never run a marathon before going into this marathon, and I was really just kind of wondering, how is this gonna go? You know, didn't really know what to expect. At this point, I think I biked somewhere around 6 hours and did 2 roughly 10-minute transitions with an hour 25 swim. So that was like, you know, rough, almost, you know, probably 7 hours and 45 minutes. I knew, okay, for sure I'm gonna finish. How is the marathon gonna go, and how hard can I push on it? So my thoughts were, I'll start slower, and if I feel better towards the later part of the marathon, I'll try to push my pace towards the later part and see how much I can pick it up towards the end. And that was the strategy. And then also, same thing as the bike, stay on your nutrition, stay on your salt, especially on the run. And I took every single aid station on that run. I didn't miss a single aid station, which they have aid stations every mile on the marathon, which is actually really nice because it gives you an opportunity to always have something to look forward to, and you're not running too long without an opportunity to get some sort of aid if you have a miserable mile or something. I remember there was one part in the marathon, I think it was like mile 8 to mile 13, I just started getting a lot more sore and a lot more pain, and I thought, okay, maybe this is where the Ironman starts. And I just remember thinking, okay, I just gotta stay on my hydration, stay on my nutrition, stay on the salt, and just try and stay relaxed. And 8 to 13 was definitely the toughest part of my entire race. I started to feel a lot more pain. I just started to feel all the aches and pains of the day started to come on to me at that point. And I really stayed to the salt as much as possible during that point, and I think that's what helped me get to 13, which then helped me use my special needs bag, which then made the rest of my marathon go really as good as it could have. My plan going into the Ironman was, okay, if I had a good day, you know, my plan was to do 12 hours. I thought if I have a really good day, I could do a sub 12, maybe, you know, 11 and some change. And I ended up finishing in 12 hours and 5 minutes, which I was really happy with. It's just such an amazing experience. It's something that, I will always remember, and I will definitely be back for more. The thing I wanted to talk about was the finish line area and finishing an Ironman. At one point throughout the week, and I think Mike Riley had mentioned something about like if people could see the finish line of an Ironman, maybe it could make them see this world in a different light. When I came through the finish, it was just so powerful, and how like there's a ton, hundreds if not thousands of people that are cheering you on and wanting to see you succeed in this goal that you have set out to do. And that energy really does affect you. Like, I really felt that. And it was something that just, it sticks with you. Like, there's just so many people that have no idea who you are, and they're calling your name out. They're like cheering your number on, like, hey, like trying to help you get to the finish and give you that final boost of energy to make your dream or your goal come true. There's just something so great, I think, about that environment where everyone's trying to help each other that they don't even know succeed. Everyone's wanting to support each other and help that person or these people around them achieve their goal that they've set out to do. Hey guys, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow along on the Return Fitness Instagram page, as I have a lot more coming that I'm really excited to share, and I definitely greatly appreciate the support. So I look forward to hearing what you think and seeing you in the coming videos.